so much, guys, for staying here with us. It is time for Truth Syndrome Monday. Today, our question, out of curiosity, is what's the most exaggerated story someone has ever told you?
So this question took me back to secondary school. So we had this guy who was Taiwanese. I can still pronounce his full name. His name was Hali James Shu Shanyang Huang. That was his name. And he always had stories for days. So recently we were talking on the class group, a couple of people were talking about stuff, and someone just brought up something he said, and I'm like, this guy, people, they exaggerate. So what he said back then, in secondary school was, so there's this mountain in Taiwan that if you climb, as you're climbing to the top, you feel like you're on an escalator or elevator or something, and then when you get to the top, you can see the feet of the angels, and it's like you're close to heaven. So back then, you know, we hadn't really traveled, and then, you know, internet back then wasn't really everywhere. So we believed him, because that's where he was coming from. And then he was so white, so well, it was like, oh, that's why I look close to the colors of the angels back then. So we believed it. It wasn't until later we started thinking about it, and we're like, wait, this guy said, we're like, what's it about?
I loved how it messed with you people's imaginations.
But apart from that, in recent times, also the chosen stories. Yes, that's exaggerated.
Okay, so the one that I think is the most exaggerated is the one that comes from that story about Benue men, thief to be precise, that they offer their wives as gifts. It's some sort of hospitality to friends when they come visiting. You understand that? That is. And for the longest, I've always been like, is that possible?
Hey.
How can a human being, after they have offered you food, they will now still give you their wife overnight? To the guests, they will give their wife overnight to the guests. I've always wondered. But, you know, I started doing my research, and then I found out that, yes, they can be very hospitable and all of those. But that doesn't mean that they would now carry their wives and go and give as gifts. So I think that's like the most exaggerated that I have heard.
I'm sure you guys have a lot to tell us. That is our own truth. And after this break, we'll also love to hear from you watching, as we'll be checking out your Facebook and X messages. We are at TVC Connect on X and at TVC Entertainment on Facebook using the popular hashtag eSplash on TVC. We were out and about and we asked this question. Let's check out people's reaction.
TSM, it's Truth Syndrome Monday.
The most exaggerated story. It's probably that one about Nigerian match. That they said Nigeria won somebody 99-0 or something.
That should be India versus Nigeria, 99-1.
I think I had a story recently of a woman that got shot and the gun didn't touch her. She had to collect the gun from the people that were shooting her and shot them. Like, I don't know.
I think it's really weird for me. One of my guys, I think he was in secondary school. He said he has 2 biological fathers. So, see now, I'm still trying to decipher that I think he's lying. But he sounds so confident that he has 2 biological fathers. So.
Well, there's always one that stuck out to me, and that was the story that someone said in secondary school, and that was that she was flying to Paris or something, and then it was sweating on the plane. She was sweating, and then she opened the glass of the plane so that she could receive air. Yes, and I can never forget it. This was like 14 years ago, but it still comes to mind anytime I think of the most exaggerated story I've ever heard of.
Okay, so I love football. The most exaggerated story I've heard is the Nigerian-Indian match, 101, or is it 101, that killed Michael Paraji, something like that. It's like the most exaggerated story I've ever heard.
TSM, it's Truth Syndrome Monday.
Interesting stuff, Omo. So I can remember that one of the match that they just saw lion, and you know that was the end of it. So, oh my gosh! And that one for women, how can you open the window and then because you were hot?
But for secondary school people, they lie.
But you know what? We believe so many things.
So many things.
All right, so I am actually on Facebook, and we've got Michelle Olujimi, who says, this classmate of mine told me she went on a vacation to Abuja with her family and saw Nnamdi Azikiwe, Obafemi Awolowo, and all the past Nigerian leaders. In my mind now, wow, this girl knows say all these people don't die. I'm so sorry. Like somebody told you that and you believe that person. All right. So we've got Richie Jaden who says, a friend of mine lost a pregnancy with triplets. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Sorry.
Oh, I'm so sorry. This is not the place to show.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I thought it was. Okay. So Sisters Igbo says, a friend told me she lost a father at... They said exaggerated. I don't get it because this one does not have any ending. You said somebody said they lost their father. I don't get it.
Was it a lie? Could have been a lie.
But maybe, you know, like it's looking like something that is like tragedy. That is what this is looking like. It's not looking like an exaggerated story.
This one that Facebook people are telling us sad stories. Let me just go to X and see what they have.
Please.
Yes. So Atomi Oji says, I know one cast some Malakada for live TV. But an exaggerated story someone has ever told me was about their house. AC, high-quality chairs and lights. When we all got to the house, we found out everything was just a facade to feel among. Wow. A lot of people did that in secondary school.
So they would say what?
There was one guy that said they had 2 swimming pools at their backyard in secondary school.
So somebody said something, mentioned this one when we took reactions of people. The person said that he has 2 biological fathers.
Fathers, yeah.
That's... So if you were like twins and, you know, you can have different fathers.
Yeah.
That's possible.
Different, yeah.
Yes, different fathers. That's actually possible. And a lot of people did not know that for a very long time. But then it's so interesting to hear some of
It's very interesting. Let me just take a few messages before we go. Nimi Stick says, in secondary school, Chibuz, even remember the name, Chibuzo told us that he has PS4 and it had a feature that gives you electric shock when you lose. I was gullible enough to think it was true because I never had a PlayStation. Sorry about that. Kali Parker says, the most exaggerated story someone has ever told me is that there was a day I was not feeling fine. One of my friends told me to go to one hospital in one area like that, and they treat first comers for free. But when I got there, after treating me, they collected money.
Maybe they were doing it for free at some point.
Maybe just the day they opened.
Yes.
Otumba Toby Daniel said, hello, cuties. Good to have you. Lovely outfits, colors, just like the background. Thank you so much. The most exaggerated story I've ever heard was far back junior school when my classmate said, our father is the owner of CBN, and we chop him except one person that opened our eyes and made that look foolish. And one person go get the OCBN. Central Bank of Nigeria, not Central Bank of one family.
Like we're supposed to add in bracket Fabu to exaggerated. Like maybe people would have even understood it better. Yeah, it's a tall tale right there.
See, at this point, before we start rolling on the floor laughing, let's just end the show. That's all we can take today on the show, guys. We're really, really delighted that you took out time to join us today. And on the show today, we had Hanish Money looking all like a money. And Lady Cat, her real hotness, looking like a billionaire. Yes, I'm prophesying it already. Until we come your way again tomorrow. Bye. They don't